Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Ultragear presents the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by ZOTAC Gaming. It's going to be Orpo Aggressive with my main man OG sitting on the side. And hey, after what happened in the 4 p.m. game, not really what we expected, but hey, here are the Esports Club. Sometimes we have to expect the unexpected. You've named it the Bamboozle series, and hey, there are multiple reasons for it as well. But will we bamboozle for today's matchup, though? For the 8:30 p.m. game, we don't know just yet, but Revenant going up against Team Valor, that's going to be an interesting one for sure because of one primary thing. Both of these rosters, they are brand new. Yeah, the Revenant Esports players, they have already racked up a name for themselves considering what the roster has already done. But then again, Team Valor, they have lost their star player as well. Buster is no longer on their side. So it could
Yeah,
be difficult.
it might be a little tougher for Valor. And in all honesty, Revenant Esports, a lot of their players I adore, but this is the first time I personally am going to see them play under this banner. So high expectations walking into this matchup. Of course, like you said, the loss of Buster, right? That's, I think, something that Team Valor are going to feel on the server and something that will make a visible difference. Walking into this is a best of three aggressive. This is not a best of one. So for Valor, if they need to win this out, in my mind, it's already a small handicap that they have losing a player like Buster. So the journey becomes a little complicated. Not impossible, but far more complicated than what you could expect.
That's the thing here. The way that it all pans out, the way that everything gets fallen into place, it's just gonna take a lot longer for the team to be as consistent as they were before. Once again, Team Valor, they are a team that don't really scream consistency every single time. They've been going through a rough phase, and now that they're pretty much out of the frying pan and straight up into the fire, things I don't know how things are gonna work out for them. And then again, they're on the other side, we have Revenant Esports. They've been going through a plethora of different problems, personal as well as roster issues. It feels as though both of these teams they have a lot of odds stacked against them, and today they are going to need to prove themselves quite massively when it comes down to that regard. Let's head on down over towards the map video screen and see exactly what both of these teams have picked up for us, because I do believe that both of these rosters are very much map dependent.
Mhm.
And Pine being the first initial map, not really the most surprising things, but then again, you need to play around with it a little bit more because Bind is one of the few maps where your aim deals and your communication will be tested totally.
Yeah, communication, especially in terms of rotation, right? You can't overcommit, you can't undercommit. There always needs to be that silver lining. Fracture and Split, as we did get to see in our first series for the day. Split was a nail biter, and I'm looking forward to how this might end up in map 3. Although, a personal fear, I don't think it's going to go that distance. I feel like Bind is going to stay the test, and Fracture is picked by Revenant Esports. And I've seen, I think, God Particles back in the day maybe play this map. I'm not sure if my memory serves me right. I do have confidence in their ability to play the map, though. So, if I think we have to set a win criteria for Team Valor, that has to be a win on Bind. I don't see this going any other way.
It's all gonna pan out in that sense. That Bind very standard pickups, nothing's really gonna change. We're gonna see the Sky, the Sova, in some cases maybe a Breach at most, but the Viper should be a pickup, but then again, sometimes it's not a pickup. There's just a lot of problems that start to fall into place constantly. That's fine for you. Fracture, though, will be a little bit more interesting. We have seen every single team around our country going for multiple different variations of it. I'm still
Yeah.
fingers. My fingers are still crossed. Possible neon. One of these days, it's gonna happen. But you know the chamber is gonna be a guaranteed pickup, regardless on the map of bind and in fracture. On bind, your mobility is second to none. Even a jet cannot match you when it comes down to the terms of mobility, considering what you can do. And on
Mhm.
fracture, if you don't have a chamber, then you're basically thrown.
Yeah, a chamber. Also, something very essential to Fracture is a breach, right? I've seen a lot of teams opt in for breach as their initiator for a plethora of reasons. Let's say if by any means somebody picks a cringe killjoy against you on that map, you have the aftershock, you have the rolling thunder if you want to commit towards either side. The setup, especially on a map like Fracture, where you can lay down those flashes through multiple walls across the entrances. There is a lot of nooks and crannies that you can flash out as well. So it makes a lot of sense heading into that. Now, let's stick to map 1. Now, we have Bind. Bind is a map where you often see the teams Fuggle jet to a lot of teams. Raze has a lot more utility in terms of damage, information, mobility. Alongside that, you also have more or less a staple Sova, which is occasionally swapped out by a Sky or KO. Sometimes you do see these teams go for a dual initiator or maybe even a dual controller. I think throwbacks to RGE when they had their first game in this Challenger series. They had a what was it? A Viper Brim? Something crazy along that line. So you do see a lot of variations here work. And again, when you talk about controllers, like you said, the Viper is pretty active on this map from time to time. You also have Daddy Brim, who can come in with that orbital strike. His smokes are pretty good. He has the stim beacon, so it enables you to maybe flush out towards a short faster. It allows you to get position faster. So you see a lot of ways you can play around with the draft. The only one constant though is I am going to be expecting that race.
Raze is pretty much one of the guaranteed pickups here because of the amount of space she can create just through the use of her utility. No
Yeah,
other character can pretty much do that. Even against the Viper, there's a lot of counterplay, but against the Raze Grenade, you either take a buttload of chip damage and then you just gotta hope that you're gonna be okay, or just get run over by a Roomba or even her just flying through the air. It's so hard to try and kill a race considering how close the map is in proximity. And even
yeah.
if you have an operator, it's really hard to pluck a raise out of the sky unless you hit a completely nutty shot. It's not consistent in that regard, and that's why Raze can create so much chaos. And I'm pretty sure one of these teams can thrive in that level of chaos as well. But for now, at the bare minimum, as the teams are getting ready, sorry about the delays, ladies and gentlemen, the teams are taking a little bit of time to talk to each other. They're trying to feel everything out before they jump in towards the game. You can check out all the links down below in the description from the side of LG Ultragear and ZOTAC Gaming because, hey, if you want your graphics card, if you want to get yourself a monitor to facilitate the frames that you're also going to buy with that graphics card, we got you covered. Links down below in the description. But hey, the agent selection is already ready. I hear the sounds on my earphones. And hey, we're going to be jumping straight on over onto
Yeah, this is gonna be half the tale. And now the draft, we already theory crafted that, a race is pretty standard. You won the chamber on every single map, I assume, but this one, it still makes a lot of sense, right? Playing around with the TPs, it enables you to be tippy-toe on your rotation alongside information. Having lethality on your thrifty is something that we often see. And we go! Aggressive!
Yes!
I'm buying you a cake all the way in Bangladesh, my friend.
It's happening. Oh wait, it's cargo on the Leon. No. Okay, never mind. Maybe yes.
I mean, he can take what he wants from you, dude. He gave you his pick.
I know, but still, I'm scared now.
Let's see it. Let's see it. I'm
I am
hyped.
scared now. I am very scared.
And that too, it's a single duelist, bro. So it's all gonna be on Scargo. There's no raise.
Yeah,
Let's
that's cargo.
go. Alright. We have JN on the Sage, so you do see a little bit of variety here. There's a double sentinel on the side of Valor, where they've opted in with the Brim, Sova, and Raze to fulfill the latter. On the other side, you have this double initiator combination of the breach and the sky alongside everyone, and especially aggressive's favorite Scar God, along with the
So the
chamber
thing
on Knight
is, I
Rider and
like
Ember
the
Brim.
pickup of the Neon, but I don't know how good she's gonna be on Vine. That's the main thing. It's
I'm
one of
not
the
really
maps
sure.
where I personally don't see this agent falling into place because mine is such a close proximity map. How much area are you willing to cover? Oh, it's stop. Stop. Okay. I got my pickup, but I don't know how
Uh,
Scargod's gonna play it. He's a very aggressive player. He knows how to play around with it, but this is the first time we're ever gonna see a Neon in the South Asian Sea. We have never seen a Neon getting picked up in professional play. This is the first time. And Scargod's doing the debut. Do it
yeah.
justice, my boy. If you're gonna be able to perform, everyone else is gonna pick it up, and I can torture OG on a regular basis.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that she doesn't end up becoming one blue recon dot, right?
Hey! Playing a blue recon dart is better than being Phoenix, who just gets one tapped out of existence.
I mean, at least Phoenix has two lives, but all hates apart. Let's see, it's Cargod. You've got the responsibility, big man. The one aspect of Neon that I love is the ability for it to lay down cover and play on the back of it spontaneously, but I feel like the Stun is just very underwhelming at this level of play, right? You have people who, even if they get Rolling Thunder, can just one-tap you and go back home. So, her utility set certainly interesting. It adds to the element of pressure. Once the pressure starts hitting you, that's when you start noticing small slip ups, and that's what a agent like Neon is somewhat good at capitalizing to a different degree, right? Maybe not the same way as a Jet or a Race, but in a way that makes Neon special and unique. Certainly why it's made her like comparatively less popular, but you have to give it to the devs of this one. It's a completely different concept which could be completely revolutionized by a unique mind, that hopefully being Scar God.
It has to be him, and oh my god, he's jumping around like an absolute bunny. That's aggressive. Good amount of information being gained, but I think that he's biting off a bit more than he can chew if he's not careful here. Edit holding down the corner. He has the angle on Prime, and it's been a while since we last seen Edit here on the stage. But here comes Knight Rider, completely demolishing one person off of that chamber. And I like this. They are not playing a jet. And this is weird because we have not seen this in the longest time. One by one, they're gonna drop their bodies. But still, Knight Rider's trying to do some damage control. Imp on the side's gonna be good for another one. Shots are gonna be clean. Logi blinding by the light. And one by one, they're dropping like flies.
And what a perfect time as well, right? It's the weekend. Storm? Those rings not offer the deal straight up, and Knight Rider finishes it off.
It's been okay. Do you know what is the most surprising? This is the first time I've seen Knight Rider on something other than a stage and a jet.
I'm out of here.
It's a momentous occasion. We have a Neon. We have Knight Rider, an agent that is not a jet or a sage. And Edit is back in professional.
Yeah, dude, it's the perfect Sunday night delight. If it doesn't work, you at least have one night to party it out, right? It's worked so far. One on the pistol. Let's see how far it'll get them, though. Ember. Gonna scorch the earth ahead of him. Buy himself a little more space. And this seems to be at least an absolute commitment towards B as of now. A decent amount of utility, which they have very little to begin with, committed to get hookah. And this is where the passive stance of Revenant
Knight Rider?
Being them Knight Rider. Not sure if he was riding a knight in his dreams, but this knight is gonna be very young if he is to take that kind of a peak, especially now considering his HP.
That spot, but hey, they gotta heal from them to do a little bit of damage control.
Sharing damage is carrying damage.
Ember though, trying to get a little bit of information off on that regard. No pushes just yet, but still, they know for a fact the beam hit is coming, and one by one, they're just gonna start dropping them like flies. Knight Rider on the sidelines, Ember's gonna be able to do one more. Good shots. That's exactly how you bring it. Oh! He did not expect that. He did not expect that volley to be a fail. Hey, it's not a fail if you get the kill. If it works, it works.
Exactly, dude.
Sometimes the most dumbest plays are the best plays. And if anyone is confused, it's just a bug regarding the names that show up. It's actually Scargod playing with Neons.
Yeah. And like you said, you know, if you don't think and do something, they can't outthink you.
Exactly.
Big brains, no cap. Remember? Gonna scorch him. Yeah, and Storm having to push it. Very unfortunate.
Oh,
And
Spectre seal the damage.
is able to seal the deal close range. This is exactly what you do not want to do when you're faced against a Spectre. You use utility to clear close angles, and that's something that Valor, sure, did commit, but they weren't willing to outweigh the utility that Revenant did dispose of, which just costed them severely.
Bad. Jan. Oh my god, Ember, how are you hitting
Yes.
these?
Close range Spectre, dude. What do you expect? This is Grove Street, and you're in the wrong house, fool. 3-0. Revenant, keep this flawless. And a clinical dissection with the Spectres.
And they get
Disgusting.
3 gun upgrades out of it. OG, 3 upgrades on 3
Imagine.
of their players.
Imagine if this was any other map, this would have been easy peasy lemon squeezy. But this is bind, and things roll differently in this turf.
Strong start for the members of Revenant Esports, but can't get overly aggressive because Edit's gonna slap you in the forehead with it if you're not careful.
Exactly.
Gargot. He's looking for more, but against a Stinger, Angle's gonna be dangerous if he's not careful. Back it up. Take it slow one by one because you've already lost out on one of your players. You need a little bit more time to work.
Logi trying to buy
Good
time,
night,
but he's
Logi.
bowed, and he is bowed out of the fight. Wim though redeeming his team with a double, and Scarf got able to find Bullet in transition. Suddenly they come alive. Close range with the Stinger, dead.
Enemy remaining.
Woof woof. That's how it goes. There is JN all by himself, has the heal and the sheriff. If he finds the skill on a Scargo, things get very doable. Not gonna be possible. The 4-0 and Revenant are very, very strong in their start. Map 1. It seems to be like a breeze, as for now, Valor can't bind their strategy together, dude. Every time they try to take the fight, it's gunfight rather than utility that tries to clear the close angles, which is something that you really, really can't afford to do. And I think this is one small problem of having that single initiator composition, right? The information you get is so bare bone, it allows Revenant to get in positions like these and make such plays, which technically aren't supposed to happen.
At this point, they need to try and figure out exactly which avenues they really want to explore. Because in this 4-0 scoreline, yeah, I understand Bind is a lot more of a defender-sided map. You're not really utilizing all of the different avenues that you have yet. You're trying to feel out your opposition because this could be the first time you're playing against them, so you don't really know their playstyle. They're doing a good amount of damage. Their aim is present, but when it comes down to them going in for double peaks or using their utility in proper conjunction with one another to try and facilitate a peak, I'm not really noticing any of that. Utility is being used, information is being gained, but is it being capitalized upon? Not really. A lot of these different situations, I did see a couple of the recon drones coming into play. You get a ping from the recon bolt, and then what happened? You just don't have anything to gain any more utility. You're not running a double initiator composition, so
Yeah.
what's your play here?
It has to be slow, methodical gunplay, and it needs to be on the back of maybe split aggression. One thing that's a slight bother is the fact that Ember is on with his orbital strikes. So it's one key utility that not only helps in the sense of defending the site, but also playing the post plant, right? When you're able to shove them into post plant positions and you have the edge in terms of getting into the site, that's when you use the orbital strike and get back that map control. So we could see a lot of crucial plays now being made because of this early success that Revenant Esports have found. And key aspect there is Revenant Esports have found. I'm still looking forward to what Scargod has to offer. This just has to be the start.
One setting was a race here. Jumping straight back into the game. Sorry about the small delay there, ladies and gentlemen. Fix out some stuff so that no problems happen. We can deliver the best possible experience to you. Hey, Scarlet's name is back. He's no longer the invisible boy.
Invisible boy.
That sounded like an insult as well as
Exactly.
what it is. Come on, I didn't mean it like that.
And
Oh, okay, buddy. All right, sure. Knight Rider's like, YOLO! I'm gonna jump in towards the side of... Okay.
okay, Scargod does find the trade on a GN. All things said and done, still a W in their books, although Scargod needs to find this very crucial kill when he knits together. It maintains the man advantage, and it denies them any possibility to take the site there. As Logi is right towards back of site, yep, they are going to be pretty confident in their
He's
call.
gonna try to get this operator.
55 seconds
Highest
left, though.
possibility that they're gonna take this operator and save.
I don't think it's a save, my friend. I think they're going for this. The Seekers did give away their position, and it's very evident as to what this play is going to be if it pans out in the similar fashion. Wim's being patient. Close through the smoke. Yogi, he's going to buy bait. He has a flash. He has the setup, but not the kill. Wimp baited in, and now it's a 2 versus 2. Everything being so dead even, and therefore they force now out in... Shit!
That's late. That's late.
No!
That's late.
That is not only late but out of place. At least Loki is able to push them out. It's very hard now to get a deny. The Molly is gonna make sure it's a half stick. Almost Storm over committing on the peak. Edit, he's committed to Tote Force. This round's gonna be all Important for Valor to win out the hashtag, and they've committed to the W. They should retrieve the operator, and this round, it went to and fro and to and fro. Still, though, it's Revenant having the clean sheet. The spike planted at least gives Valor a little extra cash to work with, but that's all they're gonna have. They still need that one round.
That it all panned out was just a little bit more on the slower side. I don't know. Again, aggression on showers. I understand that you got the pick off, and then you rotated back towards the side of showers to go in for a plan, knowing that your
Wait, what?
opponent has an
Why did
orbital
he shoot?
strike.
Did he shoot to bait out the peak?
No, accidental.
Yeah, I have to assume because there is the Sova on the other team, and now the fact that not only the angle is being held, but with the operator, it's going to deter anybody else from Valor to commit to such an angle, although Edit's found a decent timing window. Not only hears the footstep, but also anticipates the reposition. First kill, delightful. But how did they translate onto this? Wimp is low HP. Edit. No! Edit! I was assuming that Wimp has the upper hand, but he just got schooled. The man advantage swings twofold, and Knight Rider walking through that Molotov. 69 HP. He needs...
Number on his side.
Yeah, he needs to pull off a magical peek on Edit, though. It just whizzed past his ear. That almost was a kill, and Edit single-handedly has opened this round out. And ScarGod. That flank given away faster than how much time ScarGod took to run all that distance. 5-1. And Valor, their first round in the bag, but this has to be the first of many to come. They have the revive, they have the showstopper, they have the orbital strike, they have key ultimates up to translate even from a difficult position into victory, but it's very key that they do so.
That they need to try and go for an ace IK. The orbital strike alone could just change the flow of this battle. ScarGod, he could have instantly ran out and went in for a kill, but a little bit too late there.
Look
He's
at the
gonna pay
commitment
the
to
price
B,
for it
though.
with his life. And that's the commitment down towards the B side. Now that they know that there was a fast push onto A, that's it. Utility being given away. Positions not being done justice.
Showstopper though on the back pocket of hopes. If he's feeling it, might just see him whip out the big pocket rocket. That's information secured now with Revenant, knowing that Team Valor haven't completely fallen off B long. They should be expecting to still commit to the hold for a minimum of 20 seconds. They have no reason to second out themselves at the moment because ScarGod is very, very aggressive through shores, and you can be aggressive through shores through A short, allow them to get to the A side and then box them in. Especially of the man advantage that ScarGod is just knitted his team. There goes the party! It whiffs! And Knight Rider, he stings like a bee. The man advantage nullified as Storm finds the aggressive ScarGod through the smoke. 3v3. Loki utility out in hand and spammed down to oblivion. The man advantage goes the other way and things could not get worse. Knight Rider has himself the operator and only one bullet on the headhunter. He misses an all-important shot. Oh, the whiff!
The whiff from Whip. It's unsafe
Has to
as
be a
operator.
save.
Yeah, it has to be the save. There's no way he's gonna be able to do anything about this. Needed to back off immediately, and Wim, I think too much aggression from his part. Knight Rider was not ready to take the swing with him. He could have just waited. But then again, if you whip like that, that was such a crucial kill that he needed to find it. Even if Knight Rider got that frag off, a 1 versus 2 would have been really difficult for him to take.
Yeah, let alone with the operator. They are, however, interested.
No, what?
Moving this up?
Oh, this is bad.
Oh god.
Now, first question. Why is the rendezvous over there instead of what?
Again, some questions better left unanswered. 5-2, dude. I see the possibility now of Valor at least securing a decent first half. They have the opportunity to break this momentum if they snatch this round away. Knight Rider, he has the Tour de Force. Skargård has his ultimate, but he's gonna maybe save it for a situation where he could figure out what kind of play lies ahead. Because again, the ultimate on Skargård lasts for what, about 15 to 20 seconds? So he needs to be very decisive on when he plans to whip it out. This is the moment that Team Valor could land that fatal blow. Because Revenant finally have shown that, you know, even they do bleed. And I hope Valor have gotten an appetite for it.
Vampires in this situation, you mean, is the real question.
Dude, is it just me or have vampires gotten less scary over time? You know, back in the day, they used to be actual scary stuff. Nowadays, it just feels like every vampire just wants to be hot.
That's primarily because of... I think that's because vampires back at the time, they were more of an old folktale. Nowadays, no one is afraid of them because teen culture.
I mean, every vampire movie I see, not a single one
Everyone
of them
wants to
scary,
get
dude.
bitten
They
now.
just
I
look
don't
pretty.
know why. Everyone, like any girl that I talk to, they talk about all the vampires biting them and they want to get bitten. And I'm like, wait, what?
I mean, see, now everybody has their own kinks. They have that, you have your neon. It's important. You know?
Hello, why is my neon put into that situation?
I mean, it is a bite when you think of it as a team game.
Yeah, sure, buddy. But then again, it's just like... It's so weird how we have developed as people that everyone wants to now get bitten by vampires. It's not really a kink anymore. It's something that's normal even on social media. I'm going on a tangent here. We're waiting here, so we don't have anything to talk about. This is Nico round as well, so... Think about it.
Go, go, go!
I don't know, dude. I kind of like the Dracula from back in the day. You know, the scary one with the cape?
Yeah.
That's the OG
Old
vampire
movies,
stuff
man.
that I want to watch,
Old
dude.
movies.
Talk about old movies. I've been watching like a crap ton of Family Guy, and holy hell, I'm so happy that my childhood was on Family Guy, dude. Like the humor, even for me at this age, and even back then, it's edgy as hell, and it just never changes for some reason. It's still the same old good old fashioned, you know, things that you can't say these days comedy.
Simpsons. That was a completely different note. But then again, we'll talk more about that later. For now, though, jumping straight back in towards the game. Playing it super slow on that regard, and Skargård, he's just jiggling his life away. Jayhead, he's like, nope, I'm not going for these shenanigans anytime soon. I'm just gonna wait it out and see what we can find. Ember, okay, a little bit too much aggression on his part, and he actually bought up. This is a buy from quite a number one of these players, but then again, they'll have more than enough to go in for the buy in the following round, considering the amount of money that they do have. Loki's the only one dangerously low on that regard. Let's see how they play it out, though. Enough utility to make things work out for themselves, but not enough information. This is what I don't like. I understand you went for a breach and sky combination, but it could be bad for you and Bullet. Yeah, he's gonna be the damage control.
Yeah.
Oh no, Loki. Loki.
Dive. Loki. Oh, there we go. We're gonna see it. Finally, the kill comes on to edit, and Revenant are able to find this back to a 3 versus 3. The turntables. Pokes finds himself a little bit of room to get a single kill, but it's all on JN. Has that revive, but why did he look away?
No, he
thought he
expected
felt
Loki
like
to go
Ryder.
in for a push. He expected Loki to go in for a push.
Oh, that was so close. If Knight Rider would have ended up going down there, it was very transparent where the secondary play was going to come from. So that was a very doable clutch. But Revenant Esports, a key round that they managed to win. And on the back of Skargård's heroics. I think he's doing justice to your neon pick, man. He's
Just cause
delivered
as much
the round.
disruption as possible. That's
Exactly,
all
and
they
you know
need
what's
to
going to be the delight? Seeing this on the attack. On the defense, sure, it looks like this, but on the attack is when you truly unlock this agent in terms of how much you can disrupt the team play around a site, right?
Yep. It's all about the timing control. For example, you expect your opponents to be in this type of rotation angle, and you expect them to be this close to you when you're trying to hold an angle. But Neon just completely changes that. You can be very silent with the Neon if you try to bunny hop around a corner, and they're not going to be able to hear you. And if you use your concussive shocks as properly as possible and then go in for play, things could be a bit more different. And Knight Rider, he's doing the damage. Here comes the crossfire between the Musketeers. Here comes the... This is not going to affect one person. This is bad. This is so bad.
It's just a utility dump. It's all on a Knight Rider. Could he stand
Oh
up
my-
and cast the tink? He loses that 1 versus 1, but the 2-day force baited out and Wimp able to come in at the nick of time. As soon as Knight Rider bit the dust there, I got a little scared because Edit had the opening to maybe do a immense clutch. I'd say that frag on a Wimp was doable. Only he had the heads up play. It's these rounds that are so close that's costing Valor so much. Look at the scoreline now, aggressive. 7-2. The half has faded away and they have gone down. The story of obscurity. Their future looking uncertain now in this matchup, and as time goes, it gets bleaker.
For now, I guess. Way that it pans out. Taking it slow is better than anything else, but Wimp. Too much aggression, buddy. That's gonna cost you if you're not careful. Swing comes out, and Ember, he was just not ready for it. Storm, he's holding down in the corner, and here comes Wimp for the shock. Shock and all, one by one. One on the back, one on the front. You're not gonna expect that, buddy. And you're gonna die out for it as well. Scargod's walking straight out into the open. Edit's gonna clean him up. And that's gonna be 7-3. Guaranteed. Not much you can do to change that.
You really want to discount the clutch?
He has an operator, dude. He's not gonna go for it.
Understandable. It's just that, you know, seeing an operator save without seeing a jet on the
It's game time.
board is it's a little different. Believe me. But yeah, Knight Rider. He's been proficient with the sniper from since what, almost half a decade. So no surprises there.
You know what is game time, right?
Yeah, obviously, dude. Like
Yeah.
12K RS and CS, and me not knowing what that is, sure. Regardless, this is
So
I was gonna
I
say
knew that
this
was
is
gonna
not gonna be a frag. Never mind, edit. All right. So here's the thing. Interesting thing now. 73. They slapped that operator up, right? What do Revenant Esports do now to change things? Because the past couple of times they've been able to change the pace up quite a bit, but that's something that hasn't worked on this occasion. So I'm interested now. Do you let Scargod off on one of his exploration missions? See if he comes
Yes.
back with the bone and possibly a hand and a body?
possibly, because currently they're playing way too slow. They don't have enough information to make this one work. If they had a Sova, yeah, the composition would be a much more well-rounded composition, but Sky and a Breach is not gonna be able to do much, and I tried, he got the shot, but he could not get the kill. That's rough. They need a comeback out of this one already. Flash comes in, and Ember, beautiful shot on a one, but Edit's gonna be able to clean up immediately. Edit though, man, his shots are so crispy. This guy's not whiffing a single one. And Logi, he's looking for more, but the stun was bad. The stun was bad. Scargod.
This round just fell apart so darn quick. And this has given Valor a very valid and viable possibility to claw their way to a comeback and salvage this half. A 7-5, considering how things started, would be beautiful if Valor are able to do it. And they're very close to doing so aggressive.
Last round.
How quickly they turn the tail. You know another thing? When Valor are on the defense, this Sage Chamber duo will make things very hard when Revenant Esports need to try and commit. Because sure, you have the Neon, but there's not really another agent that can dive bomb in their roster. So it's essentially you're hoping and praying that your Neon doesn't get double peaked, but at the same time, the person she's peeking, she's going to be able to outduel him. So that's a lot of ifs for something that needs to be a must.
Okay, so this is how
Yeah.
the strategy normally plays out. Whenever
Talk about
you
strategy and that
have,
happens.
yeah, talking about strategy, like that was gonna happen. So, you know, the peaks are present. That's awkward in that regard. Now, what thing that I was trying to say, I will say that later because currently Ember is just gonna be sent down to the stratosphere. Okay, Scargod's gonna be able to find a kill. He was super aggressive and he gets the spike. Wait a minute.
Hey. Logi. It's on the other side, and this is
We got another
heavily
Rosie and a
reliant on
pocket full
both
of
of them
posies.
finding success. Yeah, it's heavily reliant on both of them finding success at this point. If they both get a frag each, they can translate this
Timing.
into a more doable
It's all about the
situation.
timing.
It's all about that base. Who's gonna be
It's
at
all
who?
about the timing, and yep, Bullet's gonna get it.
Again, dude. Now, what's been happening to Valor from the get-go is happening to Revenant, right? A lot of ifs and buts going the other way. And
30
soon to be
seconds
7-5. This map never ceases to amaze. And the half, I'd say couldn't have been any better. We've had a phase where Revenant Esports looked unparalleled to anything we've seen, and a nice resurgence displayed here by Valor. The second half, I think, is going to be the more comfortable half of Team Valor. So even though they're at a small deficit here, do not underestimate them, ladies and gentlemen. This is the half they came prepared for.
That regard, so many of these angles being covered. I don't know how they're gonna rush it. Now, the thing that I was talking about strategy. Normally, when you pick up a Neon, you're supposed to create ample amounts of space so that your secondary entry can actually rush on in. Now, who is that secondary entry in this case? It has to be that chamber. The chamber needs to be the one to utilize that space, especially on this map in particular. It is true. It may sound weird, but this is how it's normally gonna play out. Your chamber player is the most dangerous one out of the bunch of your agents. And I know
assumed
Knight Rider
with,
can utilize that space.
he sure can. I assumed with how the pseudo duelist Sky has been for the past few months, that could be a natural alternative to that seat as well. And one thing though is Revenant Esports, they're being very clinical about this. They're using a lot of utility to clear out a lot of close angles and gain information. And that information is essentially yelling that Valor is not going to be playing any whatso aggressive. With this double sentinel composition, it's heavily reliant on them laying back and then using their utility to slow down that hit while taking jabs. Commitment, absolute Ember on the plan, the Molotov. Oh, the plan doesn't go down. Big stuff. Nice deny coming in from Storm. JN forced to concede position through lamps. At least for now, Revenant Esports have found the ground to fight back. They're forming up, they're boxing in, and Knight Rider, the triple! He manages to do it, you name it, and the chamber is there with the fireworks. 1v4, and Edit, he looks phased by this task already.
I don't think it's gonna be that easy for him, but then again, it's Edit we're talking about. Scargot comes in swinging, gets the final frag off. 8-5, ladies and gentlemen, and a good strong start for the side of Revenant. So I'm not seeing all of the different plays I would want from the Neon, but hey, I'm gonna cut Scargot some slack. I'm pretty sure this is his first time playing Neon on the map for fun.
I think professionally, and I'm glad. Had to be a first sometime or the other, right?
Yeah.
We've been having the Neon creative every single day here at the Challenger series, and it's finally justice that we get to see her on the stage. So enjoy it while it lasts, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully last a little longer. Perfect use, perfect
timing?
play.
See the timing?
Exactly.
This is what I mean.
meant. This is gonna be far better for Scargod on the attack, and this is where we truly get a sense of what he can deliver.
Slide it to them DMs. Oh, wait a minute.
That's the way you put Neon in place.
Yeah.
And pick up that Spectre. I've seen it at this range. Well, Knight Rider is expecting such a play. Expected him to go for the weapon. And for now, we're expecting Valor to fight back. They're gonna be on vandals. They're gonna have all the utility they desire. Although Scar God's just gotten new wheels and he is excited. He's going for a spin like there is no tomorrow. I love the fast aggressive play through long. I'm wondering, where else could we expect to see it? I assume that it's very easy to isolate lamps as well on the back of not only the stun but also the walls that Neon have to offer. Wimp. Deterring that peak for the orb.
Here.
And JN. He's gonna grim them to death. God's expecting this. Like, come, bro. Come, peek, peek. I'm shooting some bullets. Come. Give it a try. Give it a try. You get it out.
Oh, he's
Knight Rider
there.
and Kargod are looking.
Just walk up slowly, but no,
He
Scar,
waited, dude.
Scar. Come on.
He's left with the scar, man.
Oh,
Oof. I mean, good way to get vengeance, right? Just delete that Sag. Man advantage nullified. And very crucial player lost. That's the Sage down, so no heal, no slow. At least half of it's gone. Bullet! Beautiful shot. Puts a bullet between Wimp's eyes. And Ember's able to torch Storm to death. It's all left on Logi's hands to find this round back in the favor of Revenant Esports. Finds the kill. 26 HP and knows exactly where Ed is playing from. Could fake the plant. He's still gonna go for the peak preemptively and he finds the clutch.
he went off. The timing was not in his favor. Poor Edit. He expected a peek from the left side. You saw his cursor move there. Timing, not his best friend. But for Revenant, that was a perfect play.
Trade up outduel. He did not even tap. That's how confident he was. He didn't tap the bomb, he tapped the enemy. 10-5, the deficit grows and Valor slowly losing ground in the second half, and this is the half that they were vying for. The half where the draft would kind of favor them to some extent. Not been rainbows and sunshines just yet.
That works.
And it's far from being an ideal situation, because even if they do sweat this out, they have barely any room for error. Ooh! Disgusting. Edit. Nailed to the wall.
There.
He's gonna be overlooking what's left of this A-side defense. And again, this is inferior buys, and this is bind. This is a map where making a Spectre investment is not ideal, but it's certainly workable. You close the distance, you play it up close CQC, and that ends up being a demon of its own, just like your chamber.
Reaper is one of the best characters that I've seen. Honestly
Oh.
speaking, it feels as though you can do so much.
Again.
But Knight Rider, he didn't clear on all the angles that he's supposed to, trying to rush on down over towards the side. And Scargod, push your way up. Get a freebie for yourself as well. And Scargod just doming people and sending them down to the next round.
You
11
mentioned
and
the
5
timing
on
window.
the scorecard. Yep. And the timing window's just getting closed upon one by one. But then again, Scargod, he's just doing his thing.
Exactly.
Sliding on in. And honestly speaking, I'm talking about Scargod quite often. We honestly need to speak about Logi. I think that Logi is insane the way that he's setting up Scargod for a lot of these plays. Have you seen his aftershocks and the way he flashes?
That's exactly the reason why some teams are afraid to run a Neon. Sure, it might do the job like Jet, but it requires a very, very well thought out setup, and that's something that it looks like Revenant Esports are very planned in their approach with. So it's the entire
way
team
that
effort
Logi
when you
sets
play
it
Neon.
up, it's just insane.
And you mentioned timing quite a bit in the first half, right? Like the previous round was was exactly the round where timing made a huge difference. Look at how fast Argod was able to scale those smokes and find himself in the back lines. That's very crucial in finding your enemies off guard. Hoax wasn't even expecting that one bit. He was just running away from lamps to get back to defender spawn to commit to then a full retake, which Scar got dismantled before it even began.
Timing windows are the most crucial part about playing that Neo. The fact that he's able to utilize that and just understand exactly how to play around it is what's giving him the edge. That's why a lot of the international teams are picking up the Neon as well to just completely catch your opponents off guard. A game that is built around systematic plays. It is a tactical shooter for a reason. You're playing around tactics and you understand your opponents. Oh, they're going to play here at this specific time. Maybe in 10 seconds, they're going to make this rotation. 10 seconds, Neon can get it done in 5. When you have something like that, it just adds on to the fire! And JN is possibly going to get burned to a crypt if you're not careful. 3 players holding on down over and towards the other side, and a beautiful shot from the side of it. This man and his micro adjustments. My god, he's absolutely disgusting.
He is the headhunter himself. Little does Knight
And he's
Rider
also
know.
the to the force.
Yeah, but little does Knight Rider knows such close angles with the Stinger, it might prove lethal if he's not careful.
All up dash.
Hoax finds what? Okay, cool Scar God for sure. That's a kill. Yeah, no doubt. Nullifies the man advantage, but there is opportunity here for Valor. They found a small upgrade in terms of weaponry. Look at Scar God. He's baited out that TP. He's rotated the long way around. And he's coming back towards B. The only thing is it's not a fake that's sold completely. Because Edit has the ability
30
to
seconds left.
make quicker rotations. I don't see his rendezvous placed towards the B side though. So it might just have to be on foot. He does, however, have that tour de force like you mentioned. And we've seen him wield magic with it. This is a darn good moment to come alive. The last 15 seconds, and this timing needs to be on point because Hoax, he's in a one and done position. The Stinger still pays dividends, has the showstopper, but not in a position to use it. The plant's going down. 1 versus 2. The tour de force in his hands, and he needs
Need to peek.
he needs to find a way to draw that aggro. He needs to place the rendezvous for maybe a conservative play, but Ember with the low HP playing that off angle does it to perfection. Map point on Revenant Esports as they're looking. If I'm not mistaken, this is Valor's map pick, so not looking bright for them, is it?
Chambers paying dividends, but not in the ways that you'd expect it to.
JN operator. Okay.
JN going over to his signature
want to
weapon,
play?
hoping that
Let's
he's going to be able to
play.
do something with it this time around. Wall's going to be good, but I don't think you're going to be able to survive this one for long. Scargot has the angle, goes for a peek, a little bit too overzealous there. Didn't have the perfect crosshair placement for that shot. He's going to pay the ultimate price for it with his own life. And Loki, okay. He's going to be able to find that kill instead of Knight Rider. But at least Knight Rider is going to be able to snap his finger and get himself out of that one.
That close swing was so well baited out though by Hoax that, you know, the setup seemed almost done. I assume that at least should be 1 frag in the pocket minimum. Not the case. Loki gonna be healed back up to a full. There's double aggression towards Hookah. This is their answer here. Valor note that they do not want to fight amongst the side. The Rolling Thunder is a very big possibility. Ember, the fact that he was able to find that and fall back, I'm not sure if he spotted Hoax, who could be in a spot
didn't.
to deal a crippling blow. Oh, he gets the double!
Spike down.
The showstopper, if he wants to confirm things. Oh, wham! Perfect timing, perfect play. The Hawk blinds at it but doesn't deter him from the engagement. It's all on a Knight Rider. A 1 versus 2. He had the tour de force. Edit wasn't able to do much with his. Get first shot.
That slow is painful. Oh,
But it forces him back.
go.
Time is of the essence. He forces the fight, which is the brilliant thing to do. Forcing it close range with the Vandal. He's just playing a dance to death here. JN close range. This Vandal slaps. Oh, it's the classic. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. He's drawing it out. Close the distance. Knight Rider. You might ring around the rosy, but he's gonna come in with the torrents.
So this was inevitable.
In this situation, the posies were found as well. My god, this round was a complete and utter back and forth. Hogs made an insane play to try and close this one out, but constant turnarounds. Wimp, he was able to find everything. It was literally down to the wire. Poor old JN, he just needed to take the fight there. He tried to run away. That's where confidence comes into play. There's so much that he can do. The poor guy had an operator in his hand. How do you take that close proximity fight against the Vandal? He just swings you and sends you to Jesus in a couple of seconds. Just won't happen.
Yeah.
And as
nice
we head
try,
on
I
down over
guess.
to the match highlights, it's gonna be rough to watch, but then again, like, it's gonna be fun as well.
Yeah, sure. A lot of these situations, I really feel gutted for Team Valor. A lot of these close rounds could have completely changed the tale of Bind. Oh, the misery. You could see that with how Revenant Esports approached this draft, they are so well prepared to play around with the kind of aggression and chaos that a Neon can cause. It's even rounds where Skargod might not even get a kill. There are two things that make a big difference. A is the fear factor, because you are going to start working on earlier timings, which means your confidence is going to be far shorter. You're not going to be able to hold the aggressive same off angles that you used to before, which to some extent diminishes the potency and ability what you can defend a site with. You know, the ability to take ballsy aim deals is something that's a natural gift and also a necessity in a lot of situations, because that's what throws a curveball. That was completely negated. And like you said, the setup from Yogi on this breach, it looks scary for map 2. And I think one thing that should be discussed right now is the fact that map 2 is the pick Revenant Esports. So Fracture, I think another map where Neon to some extent is feasible, especially in finding the opening towards side. With the success they found now, it begs for me to ask the question, when are we going to see this again?
It could just happen in Fracture.
Could. You better hope.
Yep. Because in Fracture, I do believe that Neon just holds a lot of weight. But it really does depend on substance. Fracture just allows Neon to run rampant. You have a massive map to play around with. And if you get
Yep.
that perfect read due to the communication coming into play, you can just do so much more in comparison to anything else. And that's
For
why
sure.
I personally love that pickup there.
And I feel like, especially in the case of Revenant Esports, they'll be more than comfortable letting go of the jet, because, especially on a map like Fracture, the angles at which you take engagements are far more defined, as it's a map oriented towards both the attackers and defenders playing aggressively. So it's always very viable to pre-plan what kind of a peak you're going for and play off the information you get on that peak. So in a realistic world, I see this as a viable strategy that Revenant, again, could repeat in map 2. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a story that you will need to wait for. It's gonna be a long best of 3 from the looks of it if Valor are able to pick up the piece on Fracture. But personally, I feel like that's a tale not to be told today. And I think that's a tale that only time can tell. Only us can be the narrators for it. And that's something you guys need to wait for. So we'll be back with just 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Get your pop on, get your rebel, because you know the action's right here at the home of the Indian esports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Challenger Series, powered by ZOTAC, and we just had our first appearance of Neon. All things said and done, it was cool, it was nice, it was fly. 13-5, not a scoreline that kind of shows the quality that Valor had. There were a lot of rounds that went close and down at the wire. Now though, we head to map 2 because map 1 done and dusted, picked by Valor but won by Revenant Esports. We head on to Fracture, which is picked by Revenant Esports. Let's see if Valor can turn the tables. Yeah,
Interesting sides of both these teams, but then again, I will not be surprised if we see another Neon. This is Neon's home ground. Bind is a pretty strong map for her, but still, this is where she's going to be. There's tunnels to consider. There's ropes. You can easily rush down A main. You can easily take aggressive control of drop. There's so much that you can do. I do believe that here is where the real fun will start.
Okay. So we mentioned Neon, mentioned Chamber. I think we should mention Breach. Three vital heroes to have in a map like Fracture. You need a controller, obviously. Some people favor Viper, some people favor Brim. You don't see a lot of Omen on Fracture, which is to some extent surprising, to some extent not. You can play around with a little bit of verticality and mobility, but again, with how his smokes work, you really don't have that much cover for very long. It's easy to wait out and deplete the cover, and if there's no secondary controller, things get a little problematic. So what do you think heading into this matchup is what we're going to see? Do you think we're going to get maybe a double controller setup from the side of Revenant to compensate for the lack of a dive? I mean, I also see value into Initiator, so it's a very hard choice. Either way, if you're Revenant Esports, if you want to continue that Neon, but we've seen how if you make that difficult choice and you're very well set up for it, like the way like the way Logi is with his brethren with Scargot playing so aggressive in that Neon, you could hypothetically see it work. But what you essentially end up trading off is one player who's dedicated to get the frags, one player who's dedicated to get the setup, and that's for the time period where actual action's gonna happen. After that, it might just be Logi left alone with a 1v2 after Scargot does his heroics. So you could see the story turn either way, and I think the only real telltale sign is when we actually head to the draft.
Thing is that Fracture just has so many different avenues that you can play.
Exactly.
You have endless possibilities, and their compositions will reflect that. You need to pick a composition that you are actually really comfortable with, because whenever you pick composition that you can play with properly and just take control of the map, and I personally think that that will be the best combination. But the most staple pickups have to be, first of all, the chamber. There's no other sentinel that plays this map better than the chamber. And of course, the breach. The breach needs to be there. The amount of utility you can get away with, it's incredible on this. There's
Hmm.
every single one of the nook and crannies, a breach can throw a piece of utility there and completely shut you down. And then the other side, there's a brimstone versus the viper. Now, personally, I love the brimstone because of the orbital strike. The orbital strike just completely changes the flow of how you play them. You
Yeah.
try to go in for a plant on a sticky corner, and there's no way you're going to be able to run out of that orbital strike.
You need
You're
to
going to
wait
be
it out.
stuck there. You need to bait it out. That's going to waste so much time, and all the attackers or the defenders accordingly to just rush on down over into a site for a retake, or for the attackers to completely deny a retake scenario. There's so much
Mm.
that you can do with that brimstone, but with the viper as well, it's dangerous because on this particular map, if you use a snake bite, then someone will get affected by the vulnerable. You can't run out of that snake bite as it gets
Exactly.
thrown in.
And more
So
important
much
thing
can
is
be
the
done. It
vulnerability.
opens up opportunities for agents. That's why I love this map. People hate it, but then again, once you learn it, this map is the most beautiful map that you can have.
Exactly, a lot of versatile ways that you can play around it. And I feel like one agent that we sort of overlooked by mentioning the double controller and the double initiator composition is the fact that even a double sentinel to some extent is viable, right? You see, sometimes you see the occasional cipher out in a map like this where information is the name of the game. You need to be tiptoe on your information so you can commit faster rotation. As the defender, your rotation is very, very short. So you need to make sure that you're at the perfect window to capitalize. That's the important aspect of the picture here. So we see that the occasional KO here and there, again, this is just purely of what few maps that we could see from Fracture and maybe a couple of pugs. So there's a lot of variety that could still be brought in here. I feel like Valor though need to bring out the curveball, right? If Revenant yet again comes out with the curveball like how they did in map one with the Neon, you could see this head out with a completely different direction. So in this context of the best of three and this being the map two where Valor are in a situation of do and die, I really, really want them to do at least do something a little more out of the box, something that throws Revenant a little off guard, so then you have the opportunity to capitalize when they are the ones on the sweat.
Take it slow, take it steady, don't overcommit. That's the most important part. But then again, on the map of fracture, it's not about overcommitment. It's about understanding how much you can get away with and how far you can stress out your enemies by just, you know, poking and jabbing them until they back away into
Yeah.
tunnels. control is the most important thing on this map, and I'm really hoping that these teams know exactly what they're doing in that regard.
Talked
Now
about
here on this
double
map,
sentinel, Sage.
no Euro. Scar, go back to the neon. Be a good boy. No,
Getting flashbacks. Aggressive?
no.
You're getting flashbacks of a red carpet, right? I'm not talking about the fancy red carpet. I'm talking about the, red in
Yep.
your rank history.
Yep.
We see the chamber. We see the chamber out alongside two sentinels on either side now. If edit locks on the stage, we have the cipher. You get your daddy brim on either side, and breach is, like you said, a staple, right? Double sentinel. Interesting. Very interesting. Here's what I have a small problem with now. Aggressive. Both sides with the Sage and the Cypher pickup, making it a double sentinel, have a very, very good
Wait a
opportunity
minute,
and
no
ability
chamber?
to slow down. Wait, what? Okay. Nice.
It's really good on the cipher. I understand that. It's just I can't see a situation where you can play this map without a chamber.
Yeah, I think
Chamber's
if
rotational abilities with the rendezvous are just so crucial on this map that to not have it, it seems like a detriment.
I don't know if us being silent enough we can hear the brilliance of Revenant. Uh, I wish them the very best at least. Yeah, it's gonna be a little awkward.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, seeing neither the chamber or the jet on either side. So essentially, you're limiting yourself by not having an operator cool, but you have a lot of utility to play around. And if that's what they want to go for, cool. Because either side have only one controller, right? So cover is gonna be at the top of the priority for both of these teams. If you are the defense, which in this case are Valor, your priority is to slow down the hit so much that you delay that cover, make sure that cover is where Jack, and then you start your offensive. At least that's what the theory crafting should indicate to. Well, we've crafted all we can. Now it's time for the meal. Map 2, ladies and gentlemen, of this best of 3, and Valor a foot out the door already. Revenant are looking to push them out the door and seal this best of 3 2-0. Is that going to be given? Yep, that's what we're here to see. Early utility towards Satellite as they're planning an aggressive take. This needs to pan out in their favor. On the other side, Bullet is just biding his time. Timing, though, could be the big thing, as Revenant Esports are baiting in this kind of a peak from Arcade. Bullet is just not budging. Knight Rider is up close and personal, and Storm bites the big bait. Wait, they still don't clear him? What? Okay, he still manages to find a tag, but that's all he's gonna find. The man disadvantage now. Team Valor, how did they fight back? They would need to break that wall cool. They gain control towards Kitchen. And Ember is not gonna be giving away that early frag. That easy. Scar got position given away. Cage leaves it to obscurity. This retake becomes infinitely more harder because time is being bought.
It's gonna be good. Scar God's gonna take a back seat here, but Ember is positioned. You are not chicken.
Remaining.
No one checked tower. No one's holding tower. Well, someone's just what?
A lot of angles that they needed to clear, and the wrong angles that they discounted. Oaks trying to go close range with the classic, but Ember just furious drive-by. See, clinches the first round, and more crucially, the pistol round for their team. Valor needed this, man. Valor needed some sort of a boost, at least a good start on this defense duty.
I feel a little bit uncomfortable perhaps still.
Okay, so this is why I say, look at the combination that Revenant Esports have. It's the Sage Cypher duo. I feel like this is a duo that's much more apt on the defense than the offense. And sure, you can make Cypher work well on the offense by placing more aggressive trips, but it also puts Logi in a position of, let's say, risk. So you need to facilitate him to get that aggressive info, and it's a double-edged sword, just like it is now. Edit. Gonna be the first in line. The Spectre is dangerous at this range, but he needs to control the recoil, lays down the cage, and that is where he's gonna be placed, as he is the martyr. And he's removed. Bullet.
He
1v4.
committed to the spray, man. That shows character.
Yeah. You want from every teammate, right? Committing. Not chickening it out. 2-0 nonetheless.
Where's that? She was not committed, but that's not done.
Yeah, it should be. You should not do it to your own detriment. That's all. Against the Phantoms, I feel like Revenant Esports are gonna have a small problem. It's not gonna be that transparent now. They're just not gonna give it away. And Revenant Esports now need to close the distance. Utility is what's gonna set this apart. They need to not make the same mistakes like they did in map 1. Utility, the key name of the game that they need to put together. They want to win out this for. Ooh.
If he had any other gun, that was a kill. Timing was not his best friend, and poor old Logi's not gonna be able to find out much. Storm holding that down from the top end, but he's now been stunned. No one's gonna clear him out just yet. And Storm, he's gonna be able to lift through it all. He's gonna deal all the damage in the entire world, but Ember's finally gonna be the thing that shuts him down.
Nice dodge.
They're gonna drop the bodies, but they're also gonna drop the round. Ember, last person remaining. 0 and 2, turning into a 1 and 2 soon enough. Where are you gonna run, boy? Where are you gonna hide? Absolutely nowhere, because Edit's got your phone number, and he's gonna be the one to take you home.
Nice
Beautifully
attempt.
done.
Yeah, a nice attempt though from Revenant. They had a good idea that they wanted to close the distance, but again, the utility is what set them apart, right? The alarm bot triggered towards Arcade, the positioning held on top of the server by Storm. He's able to make not only the first kill in main, but also the kill in Arcade count. By the time a lot of crucial seconds already transpired for the rotation to then be committed. And this is what Valor need to replicate. Not for one round, but another 12 if they want to take us to a map 2. Ooh, that hurt.
Reach utility right there. You gotta be careful whenever you're going up against Reach. You could just be on the receiving end of a lot of PTSD if you're not
Straight up brain
mentally
damage.
prepared for it.
This is going to be an
Rider.
interesting duel. If JN wins this out, a lot of the information play from Revenant will go down the drain.
Yep.
And that's the risk that you run if you leave your Cypher all by himself. If he ends up going down, his utility doesn't count for Jack.
That's a clear. That's a clear. JN?
I know exactly
He didn't
Loki a
fully
step
clear
ahead,
out
and now
every
with the
corner.
neural tap, Knight Rider is set up for this frag. Hoax. The outread that is so heads up from him. Bullet does not end up going down. That's big stuff. The numbers doesn't favor Revenant anymore, and they're very split apart.
Oh my god, the poor guy's so confused.
Ooh,
Spike
nice
down,
frag from Storm, but Ember yet again finding a way to even things out. It's Bullet who's on relatively low HP, and Ember is getting dangerously
seconds
close to that orbital strike, which Bullet already has in his back pocket. You mentioned this, Aggressive, that when they go for the plant, it gets a little sweaty with the orbital strike, and this is the moment that it could be put to absolute use. They baited it out! Exactly what they needed to do. The frag isolated, but Logi is able to find his mark. 3-1. A well thought out mid-game from Revenant keeps them afloat. And that split approach, it could have fallen apart. Logi, you mentioned him in map 1 that he's been influential with the way he set up utility. Well, not only can he set you up, he could also take you down.
And I just add on to that fact that Ember's been so consistent throughout his first map and also here. That man on 30 HP,
Again.
he's just been able to do so much, and here comes Knight Rider trying to go in for a kill. Poor old Edit's just gonna need to give that up. No angle cover for him, but still the damage to be done. JN? Why?
Okay. A lot of these duels are being forced out. Even that utility, you know, I think JN wanted to save that Sage Wall for a closer angle towards drop. Now he's just given a key piece of utility away. Oh, but they fall! Storm finds his way under tunnel. He finds the best position and deals a fatal blow. The range closed, and Storm being baited out. They're playing around with him. Good to secure that first frag, cool, but they still have Hoax to deal with, who has that Rolling Thunder and 2 other buddies. Cargod! Are we gonna see it? He puts the stop to that show at least. The nade buys a lot of time for him to reposition from Arcade, but Bullet has that Marshall. He can make these frags count at range. As utility, this is a big 2v2.
Angles given. That's one, that's two. Beautiful. You know, there's nothing that they could have done about it. Way too many corners to take clear of. They could have been in spawn, they could have been towards the side of robes, they could have been in towers, but they played the smart. They played it really smart. Went over to Arcade, slowly walked up from over towards that sideline, and just got a freebie for themselves.
And they played that so methodically as well. They reset that 2 versus 2. They made sure that, you know, they have the weaponry, they have the spike planted, they have the advantage. So they didn't give anything away for free after that. They knew that risk was imminent, and they did very good to mitigate it. Again,
at the same time, the defenders did a really good job of dealing a lot of eco damage. That was a eco round, mind you.
Nice. Good TP out. Not sure why you overcommitted to that peak.
Actually, no, he didn't have a teleport here. He forgot. He
Small place. The setup though. Oh, Bullet could not read it. Scargod very well find this timing window and to find the small window of advantage that they hold. Edit's been smoothed out. He's 1 orb away from the revive, so if he gets a kill, it's gonna be all important. In respect to Valor winning this round, Wimp forced out and the cover is slowly being drawn out. Edit, he is deterred from that peek yet again. The flash pushes Logi back just a bit. It gives enough room though for Edit to find that crucial frag. Rolling Thunders are gonna be deployed. Wimp is thinking about it. Edit creeps closer and closer. The roll counter Thunder. Edit, is he gonna find the peak in the nick of time? No, he isn't. And the Rolling Thunder is a little off. It's all left on a JN. 1 versus 2 for Valor to secure this round. He has the Phantom. Spray. Could have been
good movement. God damn.
I'm not sure why Hoax put that Rolling Thunder down. He hit his teammate twice and it did not even reach Wimp. Now that's a Sag right there and then.
Sag is running around here. Poor old Edit just got completely and utterly demolished. Rolling Thunder from the back, Rolling Thunder from the front. The guy went to the stratosphere and back, and JN is trying to do a little bit of damage control with those knives in his hand, but it's tough for him. What can he do to try and bring this one back? Not much just yet. And Edit, well, he's been spotted out. Picture's been taken, and he needs to get out of that one. But once again, Ember, man. This one man has been such a game changer. He's reading into the minds of Team Valor. They're playing aggressive, and they're walking into their waiting arms. Look at how the members of Revenant are playing. They're waiting to see how they're going to push forward. But Bullet, he could just be the changer for it. Oh, it's over. Goodbye, Bullet.
Pain.
Player standing.
JN almost. If he had a better timing and a better angle. 6-1.
Spike planted.
In all honesty, this is how map 1 did begin, and Valor clawed their way back. So I'm not gonna discount them just yet. Things, however, if they remain the same, are gonna start looking bleak real soon.
It's been a demon, honestly, when you think about it. He's not been missing many shots. If you allow him to go in for a proper gun duel against you, Edit's gonna win. And that is pretty freaky if you ask me, especially when he's on that stage.
Especially when he's on that stage. With the way Revenant have made that draft, it's something that's very, very well-rounded, right? It feels like even if they do take an L, even if one of their players die, they lose a significant piece of their utility, but they still both load from where that came from.
Ways of just filling up the gaps. And that's what's the most crucial part about such a composition. If you know how to play around your weaknesses as soon as you find a certain aspect, you have other pieces of utility that can fill it, not to the same degree, but to a certain degree.
At least fulfill its purpose to some extent. And
General
this
purpose.
aggression is something that we've seen on multiple occasions, but it's panned out in the favor of Revenant more than you could expect. And accounting for this, they've stacked 4 players towards the side, with JN finding the opening with the operator. No, Knight Rider needed to deliver on the push through Arcade. When Phantom can't get the kill close towards box. Another round, but just another. This is the second. The half is still way redeemable. Aggressive. It's still possible for them hypothetically to make this a 6-6 half. But even I'd say that's a little over-ambitious.
Especially against this team. It's not going to be that easy anytime soon. You need a lot more to properly even take control here. Sloan said he wins the race, though. You're not in any form of rush. Even if you do get that 6-6 score line, you're going to have a pretty rough time when it comes onto your own attacking side, considering the composition they have on the other end. Sage and Cypher is pretty brutal if they play a side together, basically nullifying any need for 3 players on B. If you triple stack on A, and if they hit the A side, yeah, the trade game's always going to go in favor of the side of the defense. The B side is the most hardest side to control. That is for certain. Because you don't have enough people on A and the side is pretty big. But if you don't have enough people on B, then the B side is impossible to hold. On the A side, you have like an inkling of a chance to just get out of a sticky situation considering the sheer amount of angles there are on that specific side. On B, it's a little bit more telegraphed.
And I think more importantly, it's also based on the draft to some extent. You have the Orbital Strike, you have the Showstopper, you have the Rolling Thunder. To some extent, you also have the Tote Force, which, if you're in close proximity, is a problem when you have to consider trades. Bullet. He lays down the stem, and he's ready to bring this home like a brim. Yeah. I was gonna
spray.
Yeah, this could be the day he dies for you, and it has been. Now, a big problem here for Valor is the lack of cover. No more smokes. If Revenant are able to bring this down to a post plan and boil a little bit of time down, this could be big. Hoax. The man who could maybe set up Jayon on the aggressive play has fallen victim to Revenant hostility towards B. And it seems like every time Valor go aggressive, they go single file. You never find the trades. Scargod tries to Satsu peek around the corner, and the Orbital Strike, cool, is going to clear the close angle, but there is still tower to deal with. Oh, that looked like it hit.
That was a headshot from Wim through the box. Completely threw off the aim for JN. The guy didn't even know what hit him there. Aim punch is a cruel thing. Storm. Giving away his position though, they don't even need to look at the flanks anymore. Storm. You have the entirety of Revenant diverging on your position.
Yeah, and Ember is looking for this play. 7-2. What's the antidote here? What do they do here? Because again, a map like Fracture relies on you not only having the ability to boil time down and being able to play passive, but you also need to find a little bit of information by playing aggressive, right? We need to see this JN and Hoax combo try and bring home a home run. There's the operator present. You can set your boy up. A lot of these times, JN and Hoax have been taking a lot of isolated fights rather than setting each other up and doing it to success. Which is why I feel like Valor are having such a difficult time dealing with such a draft, where utility is the key linchpin used against you, at least for the majority of the time.
Knight Rider, he does get that first initial kill as well. That's gonna be a rough one. Scarlet's gonna get fully healed up. Too much aggression on one sideline can cost you a lot if you're not careful. And with that first kill, especially the kill going onto the Sage, who had the revive available, by the way, OG. The sixth man is no longer present. Now, they're inking their way over towards this B side with the Rolling Thunder
Need
active.
backup.
They're
I
waiting
think
for
it's
it.
done. They're waiting for the perfect timing. Logi's in position as well.
Off your feet.
Time to fly, baby. But again, no one got affected. Oh! Oh no!
Somebody did. Somebody did.
He got mentally affected, bro.
Exactly. 5v2 now. And again. It feels like as the pendulum swings, so does the chances for a Valor victory towards obscurity. It's not even a problem with... You can't even blame that on utility.
Find one kill, but at the end of the day, not much you can do to try and change this factor, can you? Bodies are gonna drop. And at the end of the day, it's just about those closing moments. Hoax, he's looking to see what he can find, but there's not much. Minimizing the amount of damage that they can do. Ember's gonna be good for one, but he's not gonna be able to get that kill on JN. Not enough time. The spray transfer is not gonna be as good as he hoped for.
Yeah.
2 and
crucially, the
8.
operator's out.
Yeah, at least the operator is still in the game for the side of Valor, but that op's not been able to get a lot of value considering the way that way that Revenant are playing. They understand where the operator is, and they just book it towards the other side. Jane's not even getting an opportunity to showcase his potency with that gun.
Exactly, and with the operator not going out, I still fear for GN. Playing with an operator against so much utility is a hassle without a doubt. Nice shot. Dashes back right towards the rock. Knows that he can't dash back to his satellite. Back to safety, although the fire is going to help him to some extent. Updrafting to make sure he has a little more velocity and he manages to make his way back.
You will not
Scarlet's
kill my
dangerously
ally.
close towards that showstopper, and finally we get to see the revive. Cool.
So I do have to say, moment of silence for the guy who did just
Yeah.
revive me.
Straight up F, man. We miss you. Oh! I guess Logi misses life. JN. He finds that frag cool, but that kind of gives away the fact that this is towards B, and that's what Scargod's banking on. He wants an isolated frag towards side. He wants to maybe catch somebody off rotation, and Loki is now... That's not Loki, that is Wimp, who's rotating in through its satellite. They have isolated Edit. And mind you, Edit, player who's not been able to get their revive up for the first 10 rounds of the game. So if they isolate the
30
Sage yet
seconds left.
again, this is the play that could win them the game. Okay, well isolated the fight. On top of the wall, that's questionable because you're exposed to both angles then, my man. Hoax just went down, he's like, I'm the bait, please shoot at me. While his teammate does the rest.
Oh my god, Edit, he's just chilling inside of the side and he's like, oh, it's time to play some whack-a-mole.
Let's see
Just
that
whacking
again.
them down one by one. Just look at this man right in the back. He's like, pop. Pop the second, pop the third. There's nowhere to run even. Like, Ember is doing such a good job of trying to go in for these kills, but no one's looking at Edit. He's just waiting inside of the site, man.
That was, at least in terms of Scargod's play, a little questionable, but to some extent understandable. This close play from Jane, it hasn't panned out. Okay, way to read Logi like a book. That Boombot just got a nice ride.
Bye.
And so did Scargod. All the way to the next half. They don't have that revive up. They, however, have that orbital strike. Knight Rider knows that there are at least 3 players here. JN. Oh, disgusting. Gets a frag, and that's the orbital strike removed. Good job so far. And it all that remains.
A.
A 1 versus 3. Are you a believer? Because the backstab's already here.
He can read into this backstab maybe, but he can't. Storm, he's gonna play the mind games. Reload comes in, he gets sent back home. 4-8, I think that they're gonna be pretty happy with this one.
Sides.
It's not that bad, but it's not really the best either, considering the sheer amount of utility that you have to consider on the other side now. Their defensive side is gonna be really strong, and this B side will be a nightmare to push into.
Yeah, this half is like having a B- on your report card. It's not good, but it's not really that bad. It's just that there's so many things that you can do to improve it, but you still haven't done them. And now's the chance for redemption. The second half is going to be that test, whether they can stick with the best of the rest. Because Revenant are surely proving it to us.
B- on my report card, my mom called me a failure.
Oh, my mom didn't like the fact that I was playing a lot of CS, and now that's that kind of became my job for a few years. So, jokes on.
I know, even my mom says the same thing. But then again, she still wants me to study and actually get A's on it.
Well, I'm hoping the Revenant have studied this because it seems to be a decapitation of their defense. And it looks like at least Valor, they've done their homework and they are pretty happy with their results. Unlike us, our god. Nice timing. Has the boombot. Could clear the close angles and maybe deal with Bullet in a more appropriate manner. The peak with the flash and Wim still manages to find this. No! Revenant Esports!
The robot
ran
ran into the grenade!
That's straight up an F. Not to pay respect, but on the report card.
Pretty much. Your teacher be like, oh, you got an A in one of your subjects, but you failed in everything else.
That's like, hey, Lamau. Darn.
Hey, my report cards are always straight A's, if you don't count my A-levels.
Okay. Well, I've never passed like a second language exam in my life, so we're both on different levels.
I was a good student, primarily because of family backgrounds and my mom pressuring me 24/7. But somehow I landed on the esports industry. Dreams can come true.
Oh, dream for Logie for them to just walk into their setup. You say it and it happens, man. He had a dream and it came true.
Pretty sure the
Like-
members of Revenant, they're thanking me for that one.
10
Caster's
seconds
curse.
and this round almost is over.
Caster's Curse or the Jigs. Who knows?
They've committed to yet another slow play. Storm needs to pop off if Valor need this round. He's the man you need to look to.
See ya.
Ember, a very, very nice slow play with the Spectre, the civilized Spectre play that we all like to see. And that is the uncivilized right there. Straight up dancing and peeking. A lethal dance, and he's baited out. Wimp finishes the job, and again, double digits. This is the half where we predicted Revenant Esports are gonna have an easier time with that Cypher duo, right? Along with the Sage. Valor really need to dig deep now. Because it seems like Revenant Esports have dug a hole for Valor to lie in. At least that's what it looks like at the moment.
Let's see here. It's rough for them because I'm pretty sure the 11th is gonna happen regardless. Oh my god!
Did he shoot that guy's body to add salt? I like it.
Yep.
Okay. A healthy.
It would be like call an ambulance, but not for me. He's looking for more. He's sending them back down to hell. Oh yes, Bullet. Oh yes, just do it to him like that. Oh yes, here comes the karma. Oh, here comes JN from the side. And what am I saying? What am I doing? Absolutely nothing. And Logie's gonna be sent back home packing. And this is gonna be a thrifty round for the side.
And the amount of oops we had in that round, we sound like Indian Santa Claus right now, don't we?
Pretty much.
That round was God knows what. It's like all of a sudden, any semblance of sanity goes down the drain. I guess we found the new salty sports. Okay. They look to head towards the ace side. Not something that's gonna happen though in Storm. Not sure if he did high jump a lot in his school days, but yeah, that's not something that he can easily jump over. And they hear this rotation here, Valor. They can hear the footsteps, the thump, 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 all the way towards CT. Is this gonna be a return play towards satellite? Because they have another trip there. And aggressive control through A main essentially ensures that they're gonna get one side of the aggression and play retake into its side. Edit. Oh, oh god! Oh god, she survives! What? Oh. He goes back as well! Well, they get the plan. Yeah, they get the plan. Though, guess the aggressive factor with defender spawn. That's crucial. The rotations, if not hampered, are significantly slower. And Logi coming in on this predictable play towards A main. They're trying to time their peak with the aggression in satellite accordingly, and Edit is gonna root that out. Oh god! Logi! Nice. He plucks Jane out of the sky like it's a bird, and he's involved in archery. Ember still scorching this round in favor of Revenant. He still has that Molotov, mind you, and it's gonna be very hard for them to try and play a post plan. If they don't get this frag, and they make a time is of the essence though, and there's nobody on the side of Revenant who commits to the stick.
That's the problem. They needed to go in way faster. They needed to go in way faster.
Maybe a lack of information? Because yeah, from our perspective, we know both the players are at satellite, but I don't think that's a luxury that they got. I'm not sure if they knew the whereabouts of Hoax, and that's why they might have been a little paranoid. Hence, Bullet was not Bullet. Hence, Kargod, and hence Ember, who wasn't able to do much. Right after Knight Rider went down, there needed to be a secondary man on the stick. Oof. Okay. 6-10. Revenant called the timeout. 4 rounds for Valor to claw their way back, and this timeout will help Valor to some extent as well, right? Sure, you got 2 rounds, but they themselves need to mentally reset. They're playing against inferior weaponry, which has been the bane of their existence, and in all honesty, you could say the same about Valor. Either side falling prey to this kind of foul play. At least if history has anything to do with the future, I'd say we're going to see it again.
Possibly. Then again, you can't always rely on those wall avenues to give you that edge. Moving on down the line here from that though. We do see the angles, we do see possible plays that could be made by the defenders, but it's a B-main heavy aggression Edit. He's already given away some bits of information. Timing is crucial.
He almost whiffed. You see that 180 turnaround 5 times out of 10. Play towards ace. Kargod is able to hold on to it for just a little longer. Hard situation Revenant find themselves in. Having to give away room, having to play this one slower. The more time you give Valor to reset not only their economy and their map, but also their mental, is the more effort Revenant need to put now in closing out Fracture. So what we assumed would have been a done deal after the first half now looks a little more doable for Team Valdo. And Revenant need to be a little careful of that fact. No! This! Sentinel diff! Oh no!
What was that game's name? That is like a cleanup game. I forgot.
Wait, I think I remember it as well. You clean up like, you know, dead bodies, blood, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Some janitor, something, dude. I've seen it on a lot of.
I'll check it.
fun
I'll
things.
check it. Take it over for me for a second.
Yeah. Cleanup duty, I'm assuming, is what you'd try to imply there. That round, though, was not clean by any stretch of the margins. Bamboozles
Oh,
left, right, center.
Viscera cleanup detail.
Yeah, I think I've seen that like in 1 or 2 videos. It's very fun if you have a lot of friends to play with. Not something that you can do in a game like this, but what is going to help in a match like this, though, is chemistry, is communication, and that being dead clear. Because these 3 rounds are going to be very crucial for Valor to secure, and they need to do it on the back of clinical utility usage. Alright, they've pushed Revenant back all the way back to spawn, and Revenant are like, you know what, cool, take that. We'll play the post plan, thank you very much, because he still had the neural theft. And
Wait a minute,
he have
Logi!
the rolling
Logi's Smoke is on the other side of the wall! Oh god, his teammates need to bail him out. Up, good night.
Valor are able to do it so far, and Revenant Esports still not finding success. They were hoping that Ember could do something about this. Knight Rider had the operator from the back, takes JN, and that again calls for a save. This was a full
Game
investment by Revenant, bro. The more rounds they lose like this, the more ground they lose in the second half, and the advantage from the first half that they accrued now faded to absolutely nothing. They had a stake. They're left with a bone. Let's hope to another map we don't go. At least for the sake of Revenant. That's gonna be a hard pill to swallow.
It's gonna be good for another one. Angle fight's being taken. He's gonna be able to live through with that gun. But then again, operator investment. Operator's gone from your hands. Slipped through, and now Revenant, they're in a pretty tough scenario in general. How do they want to even play this? They're stuck in a pretty tough spot. They have a lot of ultimates to work with if they want to invest onto it. But then again, so do the attackers. Revive, and also the orbital strike.
Exactly. They still have somewhat of a bank to fall back on. The retreat. Cool. They don't have any ultimate that helps you in those thrifty situations like a Tode Force or a Blade Storm, which we're usually accustomed to. So it's gonna rely on picks like this. The picks that Knight Rider was trying to go for. And that's the cost of not having these kind of ultimates, right? You try to get those picks, you overcommit, and you end up giving that play away. Scar God, easily dealt with. JN still has that tailwind available, so this frag that he's trying to go onto Wimp, not really as high risk as you'd imagine. Storm is the one dancing with risks, and he's danced around with the timing decently enough. Can't dance around Logi, though. The neural theft will get this away! JN knew that he had to commit to the peak at that moment. And it's left Logi with an almost undoable 1v4. Finally gets taken out. How satisfying is it to see a judge player just lose a close range fight? To some extent, it is satisfying for me.
Yeah, considering our PTSD from our ranked games. But then again, that's the problem. People miss with judges in professional play. But then again, when we go to rank, we get one shot by it.
That's different. Yeah, that's an entirely different problem altogether.
It feels as though the people in rank are so proficient in the uses of judges that they forgot how to use rifles.
And I think you talked about forgetting to use the rifles, right? That's something Revenant are slowly losing the touch of, you know, winning these aim duels. Something that they purely won the first half over. Yeah, sure, they had a lot of utility to go alongside it. Yeah, sure. But a lot of aim duels that they won were pure one-on-ones, which Valor did offer to them in a silver plate. He's gonna heal back up in a 4-man aggressive stance through satellite. Scar God with his defensive utility can absolutely shut this down. He does let go of the boombot, and the close peek being washed. He finds himself bullet, which is all he could have asked from him. The revive up on either side, which is crucial.
Kill my allies.
But it is only Valor who are able to retrieve their fallen comrades. 2 versus 4. A lot of this is on the shoulders of Ember. It is, however, turned tail towards the other side. Rather than committing that revive, Nightrider knows that timing is more crucial here, and he's trying to play the better end of that. He might be backstabbed pretty soon, so the play he's gonna make needs to be done pretty quick. He spots the barrel, but that's the play given away, and the backstab in full fruition. His back turned, but the smoke gives him that silver lining for him to fight from, being pushed out, and Edit knows exactly where he's coming from. They committed the orbital strike, and Ember now needs to fight with nothing but a raw utility set and a little bit in terms of the flame. Sadly, there was no much spark left in him. 10 to 10. Valor forcing the equalizer and looking to force map 3. This best of 3 is not over yet.
I don't know what to say. Edit's been a demon. The guy's on 20 kills and 12 deaths. The way that he's able to find so much value every single fight that he's taken, it's insane to watch.
You want to play?
It's just
Let's
getting
play.
better and better and better. To the Force comes out as well to try and mitigate a little bit of the damage. But what are you really worried about? Even if you use the 2 to Force, you still have more than enough money to constantly go in for buys, and nothing's gonna be able to hurt you.
Exactly.
Hoaxed. He's gonna be able to get a fight free kill.
Oh, got multiple kills. At least information though. And that's information well earned. Now, Valor can focus to its side. Okay, sir. Put Jane in place. 2-man advantage all of a sudden. Things start to look a little sweaty. And Revenant Esports. Like I said, the utility towards the mid-round is key, and that's what they're doing at them right now. The close angle and bullet. The orbital strike out of the picture. The Tote Force finds 1 kill, and Storm needs to find a lot more. The wall's gonna be a deterrent. The smoke provides cover, and that's something Storm's swinging out to. No, let it. He's been a hero. He's been the man. But even he could not do such a Herculean task.
Exactly how it goes. 10 and 11, ladies and gentlemen. 10 and 11. When it came down to the thrifty round, when it came down to them rising up to the challenge, they only needed 1 rifle in their hands. Just 1.
Yeah.
They got it away from Hoax. And there is absolutely nothing you can do to change that. Shots were insane. The fact that Wimp was able to get that kill on the JN was an impossible task. JN had no idea that he was going to get slapped in the face.
Exactly.
In that fashion.
Walking out with the thrifty, they must feel like Macklemore in the thrift shop. What's the counterplay here? What did they do to change things out? GN has been having his blades for quite a while, but this economy hasn't really forced him to use the blades. Sure, it's a good thing and a bad thing, you know. Blades, you're far more mobile, so you have more opportunities presented ahead. Rolling Thunder, are we gonna see the rotations committed through defender spawn? And that's something that I think Valor have heard keenly. They know that if they're committing to this, they're committing to certain death. And that's given room for Skargor to play aggressive towards Satellite. 3 members of Valor gonna be in his face. And now it's his moment to deliver. Does not have the boom bot, but they don't have any utility to clear this corner. But Rotules the first, and he's not able to translate on the second. JN Tech very low, and there's no heal left to get him back on full HP. Man advantage firmly in the side of Revenant, as they are in grasps of not only map, but also match and series point, ladies and gentlemen. JN committing the draft towards the side, as he is now the only player towards side. They're like, you know what? This is a sacrifice. Take this, but we're going to play post plants with our 2 healthy players and 2 players with the ultimates up, more importantly. The Rolling Thunder and the Orbital Strike. It's possible for them to set up duels to set each other up for success, but it's on the back of information that they can do so. And that doesn't come without risk. Oh god.
Strikes, everything's being popped a little
What
bit
is
too early.
this?
What?
Everybody is throwing things at the wayside, and that's bot time for Nightrider on just learn. He does it. 2-8-4. The utility now, when it's so important, is looking bleak. What's the play? JN close, but the bait being bought and bait being took. Wimp, the triple to secure map and match point.
Used every ultimate.
They used every ultimate. You know what happened? Revenant, with the use of the Rolling Thunder, jumped the switch. They wanted this to be used aggressively and early. And Team Valor just bought into the bait utility.
There's also another factor. You use your Rolling Thunder. You expect your opposition. You use this as a reactive play. You know for a fact they're not going to push if you use your Rolling Thunder. The Orbital Strike, I understand what they were going for. But the Orbital Strike was placed inside of the site? Bullet! The Rolling Thunder throws people backwards, not forward.
Push them back. At least in terms of this matchup, significantly.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
Suns
God,
are
leading them.
The Suns are aligning. Oh god, it's over.
Yeah,
Oh,
Scargo leading them with far.
three versus 5. It's happening. The boy's been on Neon. The boy's been on Raised. He's been performing, and he's looking for another one. Too greedy there. Bullet's gonna be the thing that shuts him down. But still, at the end of the day, if they're able to lift through it all,
Here.
they can lift through a 4 versus 3 as well. Possibly. Revenant. Too much
Scrambling.
aggression could cost you if you're not careful. A Knight Rider, he's like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. Not against Edit. He's like kryptonite here.
They've committed towards this B rotation though. 50 seconds left on the clock, and this looks to be their last course of action.
What?
Logi, the fact that he whipped 10 bullets and still got that kill in and of itself is a miracle. And it's all left on Edit.
What's the spying? Oh, it's on him.
There's the problem
30 seconds
as
left.
well. As soon as he taps, 3 members of Revenant converge in his location, so he's playing aggressive. Knows that if he gets this first frag, life becomes somewhat easier.
Wait. Oh, wait, this corner. I don't think that Edit's gonna check this. Edit's not gonna check this. Poor boy, he's gone.
GG.
It's gonna get sent home. And so are all of the members of Team Valor. Revenant. They have their position. They have qualified for playoffs.
And in what fashion? At one point, I was starting to doubt Revenant because they had so many opportunities to close this one out, but you never really saw them convert up until things started to hit the ceiling. At double digits, they knew that they needed to wake up, and yeah, I think this is a little too much even for both of us, considering not only the players had damage, even us, a little shell shook with what we just saw. Let's quickly head to the highlights, ladies and gentlemen, and let's see what the story of Fracture was, because right now, with how I walked into this map, I'm left a little fractured myself.
Certainly, because of the way that it all panned out, we were not at all ready for what they had in store for us. It is insanity the way that they were able to play so much of these rounds. It was beautifully done. Timings were accurate. Shots were being done on the most perfect way possible. And they got away with anything and everything. Can you ask for more? You just can't.
I mean, you asked for Neon and you didn't get it, so.
Can we just not talk about my sad life when it comes down to
Well, dude, I don't think you should be calling your life sad right now, considering the plays that we did get to witness. I think there are people who might be suffering a teeny bit more than you, or even I for that fact. So, have to give credit to Team Valor. They had a handicap walking into this matchup. They did not have one of their vital players, that being Buster. So, could have been a completely different story, right?
Trying to fill in those guys. First it was Hunter, now it's Buster. The linchpins of the entire team are now just gone. They're trying to completely revamp the way that they play, and Edit is a phenomenal star player for their side already. From his performance here today, it just goes to show the man has not yet lost his touch. He is just getting better and better over time. And then there's Logi getting turned into Sashimi. I think this is really the highlight play of this entire matchup. Sashimi time! Yes!
Ooh.
Especially against the judge, man. That just gives you that feeling of like, yes, just die. Feel the
I get
pain.
it. Yeah, completely. especially, when you get one of those Cypher players who set up their entire play around it. That satisfaction you get while doming one of them. Ooh, unparalleled, my friend. And I think for Revenant Esports, I like the way that they came out in display today, but I feel like on Fracture, it should have been a very different story. There should have been a deal that should have been closed like maybe 30 minutes ago. But managed to be a draw out, and at least they managed to win it out, right? 13 to 10. It didn't get any nastier than it already did on a couple of occasions. Kudos to them. Valor, maybe when you have Buster on your roster and you have that full 5-man on the same cam, it could have been more doable in a lot of these positions. It wasn't the fragging potential, it wasn't strats that failed them. More importantly, it was those mid-round strategies, and like you said, the chemistry and the communication, right? The two C's that go hand in hand with the game like Valorant. So you need to make sure you have that on textbook, and that's something that they lacked, and that's a result of what happens when you lack that, right? It's been a long journey of laughs, giggles, tears, but sadly, the show has to end. We got our Neon debut. We got an amazing game two to end things off with. And this has been the day here at the Esports Club for us. Me and Aggressive have had a blast in our first matchup for today. We've had a blast to close the day out. A perfect Sunday, if you might add. So while the time's still left, we're going to spend it with our families. And I think you should as well. This has been a very fun experience. Huge shout out to our sponsors to make this tournament happen. Check out our links below for offers, not only from LG Ultragear for some of their amazing monitors, but also ZOTAC to give you the best frames to win your games. If you're feeling tired in the middle of your session, do consider scanning the QR code and getting your own can of Red Bull to make sure you can make those flicks count and you can send them like a wimp back home. This has been an amazing day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Do like and subscribe so you're aware of every time we go live, and we will wish you a good night.